Hey everybody, hope you are all doing well today. We'll be getting started pretty soon here, so how are you, Picture Perfect Pythons? Sarah? Yeah, I think we're gonna try to start at 7-ish, 7:30-ish going forward, if and when we can do the live streams. I think that's better. We've noticed better like amount of people being able to there's a lot of people basically coming in the last, just the last little bit. So, I think this is a good time to start it. So, yeah, hope everybody's doing great today. Obviously we'll get going here in just a little bit. There's quite a bit, and there's actually a lot of, breeders again. Sterling Nelson had about a month ago or so, had a bunch of his old breeders, and well, there's even more. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and turn the screen on now. So yeah, I think I remember you mentioning that you're on the east, or not the east, the west coast. There we go. There's actually one ending right now. Next 20 seconds of Scrambler Cinnamon, Orange Dream Yellow Belly. Scrambler's a newer gene. I don't suspect this going really any higher than this, most likely. Or I could be wrong, never mind. But Scrambler's kind of a newer one that really works well with Orange Dream. It's kind of like almost paired with it almost all the time. So that's not one I had kind of really had highlighted. I just noticed it was ending here pretty soon. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started here. Like I said, there's a good amount that I kind of highlighted on this one. So starting off with this Sunset Headp, it ends in 30 minutes, no reserve at all. A really good one to get into. It just as a base. I mean, Sunset in general is still commands a decent amount. It has come down. We actually saw them, I think, babies for, I think it was $800 was a minimum at the Tinley show. That was pretty low. Everything else was kind of much higher, but either way, that was a new low that I'd seen for them. But that was just a normal Sunset. This has got Het Pied in there too, so getting the Sunset Pieds, that's kind of where you're already getting a leg up on it right here. You get a Pied Het Sunset to save a little bit of money for a female and grow them out, and then you can start making them yourself. And if you needed to know what those kind of look like, well, never mind. That's Justin. Developed. That's not the one. Forgot to move these forward in there. But yeah, pretty sharp. I noticed a lot of them seem to brighten up a little bit too, which is kind of the enemy. Kind of getting too dark in a way. Ironically, is the enemy of Sunset, because it's already a really nice dark morph, but as it gets older, it can brown out a little bit, I guess. But yeah, they I think just in general the Pied kind of brings in some nice coloring and whatnot. Just kind of what it does in general. Even just a normal Pied is not the same coloring as just a normal with white splotches. Sometimes I think people mistake that in Pied. It is certainly not the case. It definitely does some stuff for the color too, and it doesn't change anything what it does here too. So it does the same thing. It does something for the color, and I think that they age a lot better. Sunset, I think, gets an unfair rap for what it for browning out. It is easily combated, I've noticed anyways. Now, there's just a couple genes, if that, and the whole point is to work morphs and whatnot anyways, but like these combos, so that's kind of the point. So let's check a look at the comments here real quick. Morbid Morphs, how are you today? ET, you really didn't miss anything, because we just got started just on this Sunset at Pied. So looks like this one did end though, or not. Just it's desynced from the actual main page. It's still going up. Just one that I kind of looked at when I was loading in. So all right, next up would be this Stranger Clown. There's a frog in my throat today. This Stranger Clown male right here, and strangers are just so awesome. They've come down quite a considerable amount, which should be expected from any dominant and co-dominant. As it gets bred, I mean, you get one male, and suddenly you're producing a bunch. It very quickly spreads like a wildfire in the dominant, anyways. Dominant or incomplete dominant, I should say. Which stranger is an incomplete dominant? There is a super stranger from I believe I've seen that one. But either way, the I mean, what was it, like 3-4 years ago, and they were like 2.5 grand, something like that, just by itself, really. And now, obviously, as they have been prolific. Yeah, what's the word I'm trying to say? Not prolific. Yeah, at breeding them. We'll go with that. It sounds smart. And obviously that price has come down. And, now you're able to get these combos for decent amounts, too. We have a stranger yellow belly het clown female here from Spartan Pythons, and it looks so sharp. I can't wait. I got a chance at her going this year. She grew pretty fast. I got a chance at it anyways. So, and I would be, my hope is to pair with my GHI spot nose clown. He happens to be a hypo too. So either way, stranger clown's a really nice one to go with, and this is a visual, so you're always passing that stranger along with the clown. There's so many different avenues you could go. Yellow belly, spot nose, these are all really, really nice ones to go towards, like the GHI I just mentioned too. So very, very cool. Alrighty, next up would be this super banana pied. The female at that, and normally, this is, I'm gonna say something here. I normally actually don't care for the super banana. I think that it actually takes away from what banana brings. I think it pales it out too much. But that's not what I'm really looking for at this right now. I am looking at it as a breeder, a potential breeder in the future. And while this isn't going to blow anyone's socks off, obviously you are always guaranteed to get bananas from a super banana. And that's the thing there, is that no matter what you breed, you will always get bananas out of this. On top of that, being in a female means that you don't have to deal with the wonkiness of the banana gene from a male. On that, if you haven't checked out our video from, what was it, yesterday, right? Yeah. Sunday. My days are all sorts of messed up right now. But we had a male maker pied, and somehow we beat the odds, not just once, but twice. And I've heard people say it's about a 5% chance to get a female from a male maker. And I got 2 of them on a clutch. Now, what's there? There's a lot in this one, though. There was technically 12. One of them, unfortunately, didn't make it. But there was 11 left. And the whole thing is nearly female, because the bananas I did hit, which should have been the males, 2 of them ended up being females. So, and then another one was a male, I think it was. So, still very, very, very cool. And this sort of thing, when you're breeding this, you're always going to get that banana. So if you're just looking at it from a pet creation standpoint, if you just want to create certain animals, because I think that's important. Everybody has always got these eyes for the sky of becoming the next huge thing, but that doesn't happen overnight. And I still think that making these sorts of combos, these really cool combos like highways and freeways and bananas and pied, some of that stuff, I think that is important. For one, it helps you, it helps you put money towards your other passions and whatnot, and these sell so well for me. It's not even funny. I mean, I've funded other projects and such like that with things like this, with banana pies, with simple combos, with bells, stuff like that are flashy but not insanely break the bank. That's the kind of the means to the end there. This isn't going to be the newest, greatest project creator probably, but it still will be very, very useful, I think, from just always being able to create, especially if you breed it to a visual piebald male, which why wouldn't you, at prices that are right now. you know, you're always getting banana pieds at that point, and you could get some other stuff in there too that looks really nice. So just food for thought. Not for everybody, but you know, if it fits into your niche to kind of create that sort of stuff, this would be really cool. And they all look great. Banana, everything looks great. So take a quick look at our comments here. Let's see. Morbid Morph. So I think I said hello to you. Yes, I did. Gargrin. Hopefully I said that right. I know that most of them are just kind of screen names anyways, but hello from Tennessee. I've actually been down to Gatlinburg. It's a very nice place. Sean. I may or may not have been picked out that monsoon that you're running to show off in this video, so Sarah, thank you. Yeah, I was pretty happy with all of them. You know, those were just pet quality, but I ended up, like I said, I ended up getting incredible odds, just not in terms of a visual morph, just the fact that I got those 2 females from a male maker. That's insane. So, ABTs, radical boas, and pythons, what is up? Alright, let's go ahead and keep it going here. Next up would be this Enchi Orange Stream Mahogany Clown. It's possible Super OD as well. Tough to say. I mean, obviously, when you get those in there, I don't know if I would lean towards it being Super OD, but you can test for that, by the way. You can send it into RGI and find out. But either way, very, very cool female. Again, not for everybody, but, you know, I kind of think about these niches of when people kind of create at certain budgets and whatnot, right? And like I mentioned before, you know, what you can kind of create cool animals, but maybe at a cheaper amount, and this is certainly a good one, and it's got Mahogany in there, which I think is really, really important. I think that Mahogany is a wonderful gene. I mean, it's one of the obviously the super Mahogany is the Suma, which is just one of my favorites. In fact, it's my favorite pied combo for a dark animal, for a dark snake. The Suma pied, I think they're incredible because they're not just pure black. They have like some craziness, wonkiness going to them, where they're just all over the place. So I mean, it can be the same thing here with clown, and you see all these nice really burnt oranges, which are very common, honestly, with Enchi clowns, especially when you get the orange stream in there. Even pastel, you know, pastel eventually won't age quite as well in clown, quite frankly. And that's not in this one, to be frank. So I'm kind of saying that I'm, in a way, that's glad. I'm glad. I used to have an Enchi pastel clown male, and he was great, but you know, eventually as they get older, they kind of brown out. So, but yeah, I think that I think it could potentially be pretty good. Being in a female too, if it is orange stream, it's always passing one copy of that on. So, but we don't know that, and honestly, I'm not leaning more towards that one, to be frank. So, in a way, it kind of almost looks like my pastel Enchi. But yeah, just not, like I said, not going to suit, you know, your super big breeders at this point. But for someone who's trying to just get into creating some of these baseline clowns, and Enchi clowns look great in general, so they kind of just have that zipper going down their back. So, all right, here's a really, really good one. And this would be this redhead bongo head clown. Redhead is, you know, you look at something like this and it's very subtle. You know, right off the bat, you're not really seeing anything besides the bongo. Redhead does show itself up though. You can see it, well, right there on the head. It doesn't exactly look like a red head, but it has a little bit of very, very faint fading into this orangish. If you look carefully, you can kind of see it. It's incredibly subtle morph. Looking at it by itself, you know, you might not think that it's all that impressive, but I guarantee you that when you start seeing combos with redhead, it is nuts. Especially, you know, it's another one that goes well with clown. Everything goes well with clown, though, right? But another big bonus here is the bongo gene. I think bongo is very criminally underrated. In a way, it has some of that like a GHI-ish type feel. It's granulation-ish, right? Not quite as dark, you know, not like the shadowing that you get from that though. But yeah, redhead clowns. We're gonna keep using Justin because why not, right? This kind of shows you some of the potential. This is just your standard redhead clown. So remember that other one was het, right? And it had no, you know, this has no bongo in it even. So look at the drastic change when you hit the visual. Obviously you start to see where a lot of these subtle genes really just pair up. It's just so nice. And when they start making big differences in these combos by themselves, you know, I mean, think about this. Yellow belly's the same way. Lace, kinda, you know what I mean? They're subtle. Russo certainly is incredibly subtle. I both love and hate that gene. I work it. You go to find that thing, and you're just like, does this have Russo? Does it not have Russo? You know, sometimes you're kind of second guessing yourself for a little while. But when you get them into combos, it's so dang nice. What it does to blow up the pattern, to bring in these really nice, cool, burnt looking colors. Just a lot of cool chaos here. That in such incredible difference in color from what you would normally see in a clown, obviously. So very, very cool. So a few comments here. Good morphs, not mahogany. You don't think that one's mahogany? I don't know. I can see what you're saying though because of the head. But sometimes Enchi will bring in some of that. So, but I can definitely see what you're saying. Hey Macamorph, how are you today? Alright, moving along to this Stranger Leopard, 100% het genetic stripe and 50% het lavender. This one is in shed. I think you can see it in the photo here. Little gray eyes right there. But I think that, I'm not sure if these ones are pictures of it not in shed or not. I still kind of see some faded eyes there, but it's a really nice one at that. I love what Stranger and Leopard do together. Sometimes you get some of these morphs that stack on top of each other and you just kind of muddy it up and it's too much, right? But this is not too much. It's very nice, very dark, and I like what it does to the pattern. It just blows it up. I mean, this is nothing compared to what you would normally get, and that's why I love ball pythons so much, is that you have such variety. If I could tell you how many times at a show people, I mean it's every single time that people come in and say, well, what kind of snakes do you got here? And it's just telling them it's all the same. You know, it's all the same. It's all ball pythons right now. Because we haven't yet bred the Hognoses out to bring to shows. But in they're just like, what? How is that the case? You know, when they don't know any better. You know, people who know the animals know, you know, that they're all bull pythons. But just for the general person looking at this, they could never believe that those are all the same snake because of all the variety. And this is speaking for itself right here too. So this is a really cool way to go too, because honestly I see a lot of this with Stranger, and let's face it, clown is king, right? Everybody works clown. But there's no clown in this, so you start to think like, oh, what do I do? You get lost, right? Because clown is the way to go. You put everything in the clown. But I kind of like this. Genetic stripe is a really cool gene. I'm surprised that this does not have clown, honestly. But I'm really interested in that 50% het lavender. That is pretty sweet, and I'll show you why here. Actually, it's kind of giving it a hint up here because I accidentally moused over it. So let's just do it now. And that's kind of why, because it's got a little bit extra in there. But actually this is the wrong one. I clicked on the wrong one. Either way, Stranger. This is the clown, actually. Yeah, I totally clicked on the wrong thing. But I will find one here right now. Find the original thing I was looking at. But I wanted to show kind of like some of the extra ways you can go with this. With Stranger, you don't always have to go clown or other such ways. There's other ways to go. Let me get this loaded up here. Try to find the original picture I was looking at. Unless I clicked on the wrong thing. Watch, I won't be able to now. Scribe. Let's see. I'm gonna put the Gotta find what this ended at. No, we didn't catch it. Where the heck did that one go? Alright, it doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to find it for some reason. But I did find a genetic stripe one. So we'll just go with that direction, because that is a different way that you can kind of look at things other than clown. There we go. So here's a genetic stripe stranger, and you can kind of see that it definitely does some wavy wonkiness to the pattern on back. It still has I guess a stripe, you know, but it's more like a wavy one. And it definitely darkens it. And this one has a few extra genes, by the way. I believe pastel and Anchi. But in a way, I kind of like to see it without those, so that it maintains a little bit more of that nice darkness to it. But genetic stripe that's another one that's just heavily underrated, in my opinion. I don't understand why people have not took on to that with other genes and whatnot. And I wouldn't say it hasn't completely taken off, but very, very cool. So, alrighty. Alright, let's go ahead and move along here. Where was I? There. Yes, that one. So, and now we're getting to these big time, these breeders. There's quite a few of them, and I haven't clicked on every one of them. So I'm gonna kind of rapidly go through these, because it is yeah, there's quite a few of them, and these are all from Sterling Nelson. I think he's he's got breeders coming up, so he's downsizing them, and most of them, if not all of them, are proven. So this would be a yellow belly or spark female right here, and why that's important is you could start working some of these complexes along the lines of like the yellow belly complex stuff. So like freeways and highways. It depends on which one it is. You can test for this again, by the way. You know, maybe even ask. It looks like it just laid eggs here, just about a month and a half ago. You can maybe ask to see like if he created any combos or something like that, what he may think it might be. You can always message these sellers on the side, whether it be spark or yellow belly, because that could matter. You know, if you want to work freeways or highways, well, you need it to be yellow belly. If you know, obviously there's other different things here though, because the yellow belly complex works quite well together in almost every case. You know, except for, in my opinion, when you go yellow belly to yellow belly, because that's an ivory, and it kind of masks quite a bit of everything else. So the next one would be this Het Clown special, and you might see it says Baker line. That's just a different line of the special. Special is another one that's kind of subtle, but you can see it a little bit more than other ones. You can kind of see it's definitely a bit more of a brighter animal, right? And that's kind of what it does. It's an enhancing gene. Special is just absolutely incredible. And if you don't believe me, check out it in many other combos like the Pompeii. Pompeii was thought to be one of the more perfect clown combos that could ever be created. And then JSA Reptiles came out and made the special Pompeii. And then that just it made it even better. So it's very appropriately named. Like I said, I always like to say, don't sleep on these subtler genes, like you know, special lace, redhead, things like that. They're incredibly important. One of the bigger mistakes I ever made, and she is very cool and very, very powerful, and I still love her. But she is a pastel orange dream leopard het clown, and when I bought her, she was 50% het pied. We actually sent in a shed test and proved out that she is het pied. But her sister was also yellow belly, and because of a slight price difference, this was a long time ago, I said, nah, I don't want to get the yellow belly. That was the dumbest mistake I've ever made. Well, I shouldn't say that. I made dumber mistakes, I'm certain, but it definitely was a mistake. It was definitely a mistake. Do not sleep on these little genes. And what's cool about these are all proven breeders, or very close to being, proven. This one, it laid a lot of, quite a few clutches, and actually looks like it had last year off, 2024. so it's ready to go. You know, it's had a year of rest as well, so that's really cool. That's very nice. These are the sorts of things you can jump into and start creating animals right away, just to start to learn, you know, on your own. You know, maybe you just get one or two of them and you kind of learn, and then if you like this and you understand it and you understand the business and you understand that, this isn't like get rich quick scheme by any means. I hope nobody thinks that. And then you can kind of learn off of these and go from there. So before we keep going with these ones, jump into the comments again here. Someone bid it up. I don't know which one. But darn, that clown you shown was knocking. Which one that was? Probably one of the ones I was showing. This one probably. Justin. Yep. And then let's see here. Hey Patrick, how are you today? All right, let's go ahead and keep continuing. I don't think I missed one. Nope. That would be this clown, Het Desert Ghost female. Just a really cool opportunity to just immediately start creating Desert Ghost clowns. You just source your male. Either to save money, usually I like to go against the other one, so you get a visual Desert Ghost that's Het Clown, because at least in that case you're guaranteed to get double hets. You'll never be guessing or having to send in shed tests. Yes, it does, eliminate the chances that you're always going to get a visual, because if you went clown Het Desert Ghost to it for a male, of course you're always going to get clowns, but then you have a lesser chance of getting the Het Desert Ghost. So very, very cool. So lots of different opportunities here in different directions. So hey, thank you so much for the $20. Zane, I think I said your name right. If I didn't, I apologize. I'm new to the ball python world, but enjoyed your content so far. It's helped me a ton getting started. I really appreciate that a lot. Honestly, it means a lot to hear, from people that just some stuff that that I did, that I throw out there, because when we started this, I was kind of I told my brother here it was Son. Okay. No, it's I appreciate it. Thanks. But yeah, when I got started, this was something I did as like a marketing thing, which I definitely recommend. I recommend that you do a little bit of marketing and that you get yourself out there if this is the sort of thing you want to do. It can be something small. It doesn't have to be huge. You can do a YouTube video once a month, but it gets people familiar with your face, with you. And it creates a sense that you are a real person and not just some robot behind a screen. And in a day and age when there's so many people out there that are doing a little bit nefarious things, maybe not sending things the right ways, I think that's important to build like a sense of trust. So I think that getting yourself out there, but it kind of became more. It became a lot more. And I never expected it to be like that. So. It definitely means a lot, so I appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much.
We need to fix stream elements. For some reason, it doesn't show it on screen.
Oh, it didn't show it?
I mean, it shows it in YouTube chat, but not on screen. Okay. I don't know what's up with that.
I don't know. We still need to get a webcam, honestly. So it's not like I'm scared to show my face. I literally do it all the time. It's just the webcams are a little different, so than the actual screen cams and whatnot. So. But yeah, back to this guy here, this girl, she is a really good opportunity to start creating an incredible combo in Desert Ghost Clowns for probably a major discount, I would imagine. So I don't know if this one's proven. It does not say, but it's basically up to size. So this could definitely be a good opportunity for somebody, I think. And just get yourself a cool male. Don't just get the Desert Ghost, Het Clown, kind of like what I was mentioning. Get some extra genes in there. So yeah. And morphs are addictive. Yeah, they are. There's so many different combos that you can do, and it's never. I think that the technical possibilities with what's out there on what can be done are in the millions, and let's face it, they're never really ever going to be done, and quite frankly some of them probably shouldn't be done. I mean, you get so many things. You get like, I mean, how many animals have I seen? I would imagine that some people are like, look at this. This is such a powerful snake. And they show me an animal, so there's 9 genes in here. And it just looks like mud. So, you know, that's the other thing. It's not about just getting every gene in there. It's about crafting and taking chances and finding what works together. And what doesn't work, quite frankly. And letting people know what doesn't work to help them out. So. The Het Clown DG would go good with my pastel DG Krypton. I mean, there you go. Go in on it, Macamorph. This is basically proven breeder from a very trustable breeder. So, yes, this Het paint Het Clown chocolate yellow belly pair is what we are going to talk about next, because paint is another gene, a recessive gene this time. That is another one that's criminally underrated. You know, with puzzle taking off in the way that it has, and people being like, puzzle's the next clown, which I don't believe that statement, but it is the current kind of really big, more affordable type gene, and it is amazing. I struggle to think why paint is not also taking off in the same way. I have often kind of compared them as yin and yang to each other, because one is a clean chaos and one is a dirty chaos, and I think that's important. So real quick, I mean, you're looking at these two, they kind of just look a little different, right? Looks like they're adults, but this is, I want to show what the paints look like, and there you go. Kind of in a way, there's a little bit of what Stranger does, right? But takes it to a different level. I mean, look at this one here. This absolutely nuts. It's not really so much of dark like what the Stranger does. It's more everything, really. You can take it in the dark direction, you can take it in the light direction. I'd say in general it does better in the light, but it can be either one. This one just is stunning to me, and I think I've shown it off many times. It's absolutely incredible, and it is a recessive. I believe at one point they thought maybe it wasn't, and in the end, you know, who cares, right? It works the same, whether it had been a super or not, to get that combo. And then what you got here, by the way, is a male. It's on the left right there, just so you can get a closer look. The male's on the left, female is on the right. The male is a Het paint Het Clown chocolate yellow belly. He's huge for a boy. Oh my gosh. 1,700 grams. Wow. The female is a Het paint Het Clown chocolate. And she is just a hair bigger than him. That's stunning. Usually don't see males that big. That's incredible. So, yes, I wanted to show this off, though. I didn't even catch that they were both chocolate, honestly, because then you get the super chocolates. Yellow belly works good with literally everything on the planet, other than itself, in my opinion, unless that's all you want to do is create an ivory, which is beautiful, mind it. But the fact that you can technically create a double recessive clown paint, and then you can get the super chocolate, I don't know how that would look, quite frankly. But paint has not been worked enough, in my opinion. Southwest Wisconsin did I say that right? Southwest Wisconsin Reptiles. Jim is really, he shows a lot of the paint stuff, but he's not super active on I don't think he does anything on YouTube, quite frankly, but he does have, you know, Facebook, just under his own name, and he shows off some of these paints, and he's been talking about paint for a long time, and he is a wealth of knowledge, and has been for me as well. And I'm waiting for the day for that finally to take off. Paint is really cool. This being a pair ready to go, like right now. Looks like they are both proven. So I don't know if they've made something together or not, but just a really cool opportunity here. There's so much to like about this pairing right here. Like I said, I do not sleep on the paint gene. It's very, very neat, very, very cool. So. All right, next up would be this Super Gravel Pastel Het Clown. That is, obviously, again, this is what the thought process I'm thinking here is to be able to create some of these yellow belly combos, like highways and stuff like that. I mean, technically, you could get yourself an ivory male, and you'd be getting highways all the time. And that's a combination of gravel and yellow belly, by the way. And highway looks very, very similar. to Freeway. I think it's a little bit lighter. That's really the only things that I've really noticed. But that's where you could go with this. You could create other combos in the Yellow Belly complex for sure. But the fact that this is also Het Clown adds quite a bit to it. So you can get yourself a clown male that's just Yellow Belly and start creating like clown highways. Very, very cool. I again would recommend getting something with a few more genes in there. But yeah, right now, it's got a little under a day, and it's sitting at $420 with 17 bids. It's got some interest. It will go beyond that number for sure. But I want to show off some of the highway clowns. This is a pastel highway clown, which that did have pastel in it. Pastel works really good at first, I've noticed, in highways. And not that it ages poorly, but I do think it's a little bit of a downgrade, if I'm honest, as it ages. I think it still looks great. Don't mind you, but when they're babies, they are electric like this. It's gorgeous. They're so unbelievably cool. But then that kind of fades a little bit. It kind of turns a little more orangish in the middle. Like I said, I don't think it's bad. I just think that is incredible. And if it aged like that, that would be one of the best looking animals on the planet. They're very, very, very nice. Here's another one here. This is a highway clown from Reptile Creations. They're very nice. So here real quick, paint is untapped. Absolutely is. It absolutely is. Like I said, I have, you can find videos of me, I think when we were comparing recessives, saying that I felt like they were comparable, paint and puzzle. I felt like they were like yin and yang. So it surprises me to see that one went nuts and the other is still just very much left behind, kind of forgotten. And when people see them, they say, "Oh my God!" But for whatever reason, it just hasn't completely taken off yet. And a lot of that, I'll be honest with you, is again marketing. You know, you got to create a champion. I once heard Justin say that you're kind of creating a champion, and I think that's incredibly. That's a good analogy. Is you need to create, something, an animal that's just like makes people make up their mind. And maybe that's just what people are waiting for. Like they look at it and they say, "That's cool," but I don't have that. I don't know. Like the clown, for example, has 1 billion champions, right? So I don't even need to get started. But I think maybe paint needs that champion to be made. So, E.T., what would Banana do to Freeway or Highway? Well, it's funny you ask. It does great things to it. I'll go ahead and show you one. If I can scooch this over here. Banana. Freeway. There's going to be more Freeways. I feel like Freeway is worked more. For whatever reason. Sheesh. That's a bright screen right there. Okay, got one right here. So this isn't with Clown, but it's very, very nice. It works great with it because it brings in all these really nice colors. Enchi would be another great one to add on top of all that because it works well. And oddly enough, when you add Enchi to Freeway anyways, it's called the Mardi Gras. Absolutely nutty, beautiful animal. So adding it to this would do the same thing. It would just be beautiful. But yeah, that's what Banana does. It works very well. Just how Banana works with pretty much everything very well. It works very well with this combo. And I guarantee you in the Clown combo, you were going to look at the same thing, if not even better. So, alright, back into these breeders. By the way, again, I'm not showing all of his breeders. There's a bunch, and they're pretty much all grouped together with this roughly, by tomorrow. By now, tomorrow, it'll already be too late. So go take a look at them after you're done here. If anything suits your fancy, like this does to me, this Clown Blackhead, because I love the Blackhead gene. And this is this girl is not full size though yet. She is a little over halfway there. So Blackhead is not a subtle gene. It definitely does create a darker animal, and it works well with quite a bit of things. You don't have any issues doubling it up either with a super super blackhead, sorry, which we will get into one of those a little bit later. But you know, like what you get with the issue sometimes you get with like black pastel. If you double that up, you can get, you know, you take a higher risk of getting a snake with kinks or duck billing and stuff like that. Which, you know, anytime you breed, you have chances with that. I mean, we literally see it all the time. We've gotten a lot better luck this year, thankfully. Last year was not. Last year we had a lot of things that stunk. But that's the way and ebb and flow of things. So, but, you know, unfortunately, when you do go black pastel to black pastel, you have a higher chance. But not with Blackhead. Blackhead is a really cool gene. Ironically, it is in the spider complex. People don't know that sometimes. It does not have a wobble. And it has been pretty much all but proven at this point. I mean, I haven't seen it with my own two eyes in person, but many people have told me that when you breed a blackhead to a spider and you hit the double combo, it's a lilac, and it looks exactly like a normal. Isn't that weird? And it basically cures the inner ear deformity that the spiders can sometimes have, which causes them to be a little bit off balance. Very interesting gene, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a very nice gene to create a darker contrast, but on top of that, it doesn't just create a darkened animal. It doesn't just overpower it with darkness. It works quite well as a contraster too. You can see a lot of these blackheads that are some of the brightest snakes I've ever seen, quite frankly. In fact, I own one. I have a blackhead lavender, Anchi yellow belly, Headp girl that I wish she would eat better. So I could get her up to size, because I can't wait to eventually work that combo. In fact, it's the only dreamsicle project that I have going right now. So, Lady Bratface, black pastel is what I was talking about for potentially if you breed it together. If you breed black pastel with black pastel or black pastel with cinnamon, you can get some kinked. It's not super duper common. Let's face it. It's not like it becomes more of a chance. It's not like it's over 50% chance, but let's just say the chance of getting a kinked snake is, I don't know what it is right now without looking at it, but let's just say it's 5% to get a kinked snake anyways, right? It increases those odds. I don't know what to, but it is a higher chance if you get the super black pastel. Do I think that it's a chance that makes it so that no one should ever breed it again? Personally, I don't. Do I do it myself? I don't do black pastel to black pastel. I don't know if I ever would, quite frankly, because I don't know if it would work with what I'm doing right now. It creates an all black snake. So unless you're doing the panda pied or just creating it all by itself, it's kind of the similar look as the bell, in my opinion. Where do you go from here, right? You know, you create that and you create the panda pieds with them, and that's really it. So, and quite frankly, I like the Suma pied way better, which is the super mahogany. I think it's way more chaotic and way more stuff going on. It's way busier. But Blackhead doesn't have any of these problems. Kind of got off topic there. If anybody watches my streams without my brother's editing, you can find that out very quickly that I just go on tangents. Right, Johnny?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways you can go here. A lot of different directions with the Blackhead in clown, and I think this is I think this is an incredible deal. Obviously, this isn't as beneficial as the others. This is not an animal that you can get immediately and just breed, because you do got to put a little bit of work into it. But a lot of that has already been taken out. You know, it's already over halfway to size. So all that feeding, all that cost of feeding and whatnot, it's just gone. But like I said, you can kind of see here now that I blew up the picture a little bit better here, what it does. I mean, look at the lower part of this animal and realizing that it's not going to change really any, if any at all at this point. This is what it's going to look like as an adult. I mean, it's already pretty much approaching its adulthood. And the bottom part of this animal is actually pretty light, pretty cleaned up. The back end has that darker type of look, a little bit faded. You can kind of see the potentials of what it could be, and the head is just the pattern's just wiped out. So, very, 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 very cool, and honestly, so many different directions you can go with this animal. And like I said, it's some of the brightest animals I've seen. are with Blackhead. Yes, it's a dark gene, but it adds contrast and it makes the brightness pop. So very, very, very cool. So I do have Sarah Carroll, rainbow essence. Oh yeah, they can get a rainbow iridescence on some of the all black ones. That's just in general with anything. That's just pure black. But there's other ones I've seen like that. One that doesn't cause any issue is the black matter. We showed that on which video? We showed it in a few videos. I think one of the Tinley videos, it's from Chris Hernan. The black matter is nuts because it's a champagne combo. I can't remember exactly everything in it right off the top of my head. I think black pastel is the ingredient, but that one it's got like this pure white belly with white. It almost looks like it wants to be pied for just a little bit, but then everything's just pitch black on the back, and then like it's half white on just the bottom. So that one's actually incredible. And that one has an iridescence. I've seen that in person, the adult, and it's gorgeous. So Morphin Time, nice name. Power Rangers there. Which I caught this from the beginning. Well, we're not too well. I guess we're halfway there, right? So all right, moving into another one. Proven breeder, yes, proven breeder here would be a Raven het clown here girl, and Raven is not well known. Another very I wouldn't say subtle gene, but it's a lesser known gene. Some people might not even ever have heard about it. It's got a cool name too, so I don't understand. It kind of markets itself, right? It's just like it's thought. It is a darker type gene, and I actually showed a few of the combos here. So this is what your like a baby Raven would look like. You can definitely see it's darker. Not anything that's like completely crazy or out of the blue, but you can see some of these combos here, like a chocolate Raven. That's not just your standard chocolate. It definitely works quite well. It's a really cool one that I just don't think anybody has really gotten into. I almost did go down this route. There's a few different opportunities I've had, and some good friends of mine, another local breeder that's close to me, with called Royal Temptations. They work or will be working the Raven as well. I know they have some smaller ones, and I think that they've got some breeders actually. So I could be wrong about that, but I know they are working them, and I can't wait to see what they do with it. Because I think it's incredible. This is when I almost pulled the trigger on it, actually, and the price I think is this is going to be really favorable. I don't think that price is going to blow out of the water. And look, it's a proven breeder het clown girl. You might not look at it and see too much, but that's why I try to show people look beneath the surface. You know, look, here's a chocolate Raven right here. That's just two genes. It's from JSA, so that's a big time breeder. They know what they're doing. Now see that with clown. Now try to see that with clown. Maybe somebody's done it. Here's a Wookiee Raven with vanilla too, from Mark Bailey. You kind of see what you can do, and see that this is not a well-worked gene, and this is the sort of thing that's going to get you kind of out there because it's a cool name. You know, you think about that. Marketing matters. It really does. Should it be the biggest thing? All that sort of stuff? No. You know, the health and of the animal, in my opinion, is number one. But then, you know, quality animals. But the name it markets itself. Raven. It's a cool name. That's a cool name. I mean, heck, you could start making some things named with like crow and stuff like that, right? There's a lot of cool potential directions I think for this project, and it looks cool. It looks very visual. I mean, that's not just a chocolate right there. Clearly, that's not just a Wookiee vanilla right there, and you can kind of see it does the same thing here as I was talking about before. It contrasts well. Yes, it's dark, but you're seeing, you know, some contrast here where it can work well with lighter things. So that I think is really important because it means it's a multi-faceted gene that you can go in many different directions. You can just pure dark, sure, but you can do some things that kind of boost you in a contrast level. And everybody knows I love contrast, and I'd be very curious to see where else that gene can go. And again, this is really cheap. It's really, really cheap. So, yeah, it will go up. There's no doubt. But I don't think it's going to go, for that much. I mean, you look at this girl here, that's going to go for way more. There's no doubt. But this will not. There's many reasons why this, for one, being a visual clown, versus, the Raven being a het. And then, but the other part is that Raven isn't well known. So, hey Reaper, how are you? Yeah, we're about halfway through. So, yeah, we're gonna try to start at like 7-ish, 7:30-ish at the latest, going forward when we do them. So,
Central time.
Yes, Central. I always forget that. Sorry. Thank you. But all right, moving along. I think we've got one or two more from Sterling Nelson, and that would be this Hurricane Het Clown. No, this is the only one, but I did zoom forward one because I wanted to keep the hurricanes together. So, did I say doo-doo? Probably did.
Probably.
I don't know. But yeah, Hurricane is a really, really nice gene. It kind of just jumbles it up, but it does it in a way not as crazy as Leopard, but some of them are, I've seen more than others, but it kind of has a bit of that in there, but it doesn't darken it like Leopard does, and it works well with it too. So here's another one right here. This would be quite a bit more going on here though. This Yellow Belly Enchi Hurricane Clown. It's also possible Orange Dream. It could be. I think it could be. Now obviously Yellow Belly and Enchi and Hurricane go so well together. Sometimes it's like, okay, you're painting over top of it with the same microdose of something else. But either way, this still is just an absolutely incredible looking animal, no doubt. But what Hurricane can do is something to Clown that nothing else can, and that's bring the eye stripes back. Like, look at that. That is one that we saw at this last Tinley show, and it's a Super Hurricane Orange Dream Yellow Belly Clown. Also happens to be het pied, but it basically brings the eye stripes back, but not really. It's not like it's actually bringing the eye stripes back. It just happens to bring the pattern down there for whatever reason. And as you can see, they're much thicker, and it's crazy wavy. It's not normal. It doesn't just go just this kind of in a straight line or anything like that, like with the normal pattern would. You can see it right here on this old one we showed earlier today. So if anybody missed this one, this is a really good one to look into. The price is just super right now. But yeah, you can see the eye stripe how it normally would be versus how it is in this Super Hurricane Super Hurricane Clown here. So that's kind of where I'm getting at with this one here is, again, like the other one, I can see this one going for a bit cheaper, and it is a proven breeder. It looks like it just laid as well, so you got a little bit of waiting time to just give it a shot for this next year. Let it get a little bit more size and whatnot. To prepare. Sometimes you get these. I won't lie. Don't just assume that because you get a proven breeder, it's breeding for you that year. It's ideal, right? And I'd say it happens most of the time. But sometimes they get to a new environment and they don't want to eat. And they kind of decide whether they want to go or not. Like, not going to lie. So don't just buy a breeder and just be like, I'm going to produce them this year. You probably will. But not always. Just don't assume that you will. But this still would be a great opportunity. And I think that, the ability to create something like what we showed here, right here, is just incredible. So, and then speaking of this one, like I said, we didn't jump on this one. This is a boy here, obviously, versus a girl. If you wanted to work the Hurricane project, this is a nice one to have it in for nice, bright, beautiful, clean animals. And if you wanted to be for certain about that Orange Dream gene, it is one that you can send in for a code, which I do notice that someone's asking about that. So I think my brother's typing it in there now. And I'll real quick, I'll go into kind of how you can use that. I believe we showed it quickly on a video as well.
I don't remember which video.
Yeah, I think it was in the middle of one of like an egg cutting, quite frankly. We showed how to work it, so we should probably clip that, put it as a short.
Probably.
Yeah, we'll do that. So, and then it kind of shows you how to do it too. We'll do that pretty soon here. So, There's a buffalo on its head. Which one? I didn't see that. This one? Yeah. Yeah. This one's head is definitely unique because I thought right away it was not connected here. I just love the clown heads, especially Inchi and whatnot. So, oh yeah, I noticed he put the Discord server in there too. So we did just start a new Discord server. I know not everybody has a Discord, right? It's a mostly a gaming app, right? Maybe we should start like other ones too. But I do jump in there from time to time, kind of talk. But in a way, I kind of created it as a way for everyone to be able to talk, not just me to you guys, but to everybody, and help each other out in various things and just have fun, talk. Share pictures of the animals that you got and what you're doing, which has been started to happen. Obviously it's still growing and whatnot, so I appreciate joining ET. Definitely feel free to link some stuff in there. So we're looking forward to that growing and whatnot too. Kind of bring community together as well. So, but yeah, there's two different ways you can use the code, but it's basically a buy one get one free, and you can use it on the same animal or you can use it on two separate animals. Same animal would obviously just be you send it in, and let's just say it's 66% het pied and 66% het hypo. I only mentioned that because that was something I had. You could say, hey, you buy the het clown. But you pay for the most expensive one, you get the cheapest one for free. Let's just say you buy the het clown. I think they might be the same price, but either way, let's just use that as an example. And then you would write in the notes section as you're checking out, code Rhyno. You just say code Rhyno, free test for het hypo. Or what did I say? Did I say clown and hypo? I don't know what I said. It was pied and hypo that I did. I don't know where the heck I'm at. So let's just say you wanted to test for het pied. Yeah, that's where we'll go. And then you type in like code Rhyno, free test on same animal for het pied. Now if it's a different animal, you would now need to include your ID for that animal. So you create a unique ID for every animal, right? So if it's a different animal, you need to say what that is. So let's just say that you're testing for het pied, right? On the one animal. That's the one you paid for. You're testing for it. You already gave your ID, or its ID and whatnot, its unique ID and everything like that. Then you would say, code Rhyno, testing on different animal, and then you'd give that ID of the animal, and then the gene that you wanted tested. So, I don't know, let's just say it was, again, het hypo, but for a different animal this time. So, that's kind of how it would work. I don't know if we're going to be able to find, the video that it's in right at this moment, but we will create a quick short, or something along the lines. We'll figure something out for the directions on how to do it, because we put it in the middle of a video. I don't know why we didn't think to put it as a short or something like that. So,
why do anything?
Yeah, precisely. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on. This one really caught my attention. I'm surprised, but it is a 2 to 3 white lace clown project package. So what that means, if you don't know, whenever you see little numbers and whatnot, if you see the first number is males. Then it says dot, the second number is female. So if you see 0.1, it means one female. If you see 1.1, it's both. So, yeah, so you get the point. So this is 2 males, 3 females, and the white lace clown project. And what you're getting, the males are a super inchy lace clown, so visual, a fire vanilla lace het clown. Then the females are an inchy lace het clown, an inchy fire or vanilla lace het clown. They look exactly alike, fire and vanilla. I think they might be exactly the same, but I'm not sure about that. They definitely do the same thing though. And then the next one would be a Fire Vanilla Lace Het Clown. Every single one of these has lace. That's important. It's not like, oh, one has lace and then one other one has lace and then maybe you kind of hit it on just the one. Every single one of these has lace, and you have clown in just about everything as well. So, you know, you get a visual clown on top of that with one of those males. And Enchi. It's what's not to love about this. Super Enchi at that too, so you're always getting a copy of Enchi. That's got to be this guy, obviously. Let's see if I can get a zoomed in picture on him. I don't know if you can. There's only 5 of them. But that's the Super Enchi lace. And if you notice something right away, it's brighter. That's because what lace does is it really cleans up the animal and incredibly brightens it. And the white lace makes it even more crazy. Lace by itself, it can be compared maybe similar to Desert Ghost, but you know, you don't need 2 copies of it. I wouldn't say it's as crazy as Desert Ghost, but when you get the white lace, it's different. It's a little different. It cleans it up a bit, but it enhances the animal in a different kind of way. And it looks just absolutely incredible. Lace is another one that's just very, very, very nice. And it can be subtle too, because you see it here. You see it here. And the more combos you get, the more you kind of see it. But here, you know, you kind of see it. Here, you know, it looks a little frosty, right? But some of them are vanilla or fire as well, so there's that to consider. But you kind of look at that and you're just like, really? Are you sure? Is that anything? But it kind of goes to what I was saying earlier. The subtle genes should not be ignored in almost every case. If people are talking about it, there's a reason for it. So just look for those combos and see what you can do on those. And this is incredible. I am surprised it's honestly not a lot more. Really, I am. And that could change here in the next day that this has roughly to go. It's got just under 24 hours left. When we started this, it was at 24. But man, you can make your own white lace clowns, and if you want to take a look at what some of those do. Now, why didn't I look that up? Why didn't I look up white lace clowns? What's wrong with me? White lace clowns. Sometimes I won't say it, you know, but I won't show it. But we'll go ahead. Anytime I do this, I'm always getting Justin's videos. There we go. So, like I said, it looks like a Desert Ghost in a way, but it just really cleans it up. Just really sharpens this animal up. And you don't need, you know, you can get like one copy of it and it still kind of does it. Like, these are really, really beautiful animals, and there's plenty of other ones out there. And you can combine it with others, with other genetics, and you'll see what I'm saying here. Let me look that one up. Russo is the one. So let's clown. Here we are. There's just one copy of it along with the Russo. Just absolutely insane. This one here on the left is my favorite. It's incredible. Just the sort of potential that you can get with this sort of gene, and how it just makes everything pop. Absolutely incredible. Such an inspiration to see some of this stuff. Just kind of directions you can go, and the proof in the pudding of what you can do. He's light years, Justin is just light years ahead of other people in a lot of this stuff. Just a really good eye for it. You can use it for inspiration for other different projects and whatnot too. So, like I said, the Russo and the lace. This made me so happy that I work Russo. When I first saw this, it was one of the first times I ever saw people talking about what it can do. It made me so happy. Like I said, I don't work Russo a whole bunch, but I do have it in certain things, and I see it. I see a big difference. I have a killer clown here that's also Russo, and most killer clowns, when they're bigger, they brown out. They don't look that great. This one looks pretty dang good for a killer clown that's an adult. I think it's incredible. So, yep, Russo for the win. Alright, let me clean some of this pages up right now. But that's kind of where I'm going with this, you know. And these are they're easier to work because they're not recessives. So you can get them into things a little sooner. So if you wanted to start working that right there, what was that? Cypress Yellow Belly, Spot Nose Russo, Lace Clown. We get some of it. You get some other different directions here. If you get the visual clown, you get the Russo in there too. Really, it's the Cypress bringing in a lot of that craziness in the Yellow Belly. So you get some of those other genes in there. Eventually, after you get your white lace, that's when you're really cooking and making some cool animals. Like I said, where you're really seeing what lace can do is up here on the male. So, Reaper just grabbed a Russo Trojan. Very nice. Het Clown boy. Trojan's another one, just so or underrated. And that one, it might be kind of subtle, but honestly, I see a visual morph on that. I definitely see it. It brings in some different colors and whatnot. That's another one that's just really nice. And they're conversation starters when you're working these genes that not a lot of people see or know about. They say, what the heck is that? If it looks good and it has a cool name, I mean, it's kind of a marketing strategy. It starts a conversation, and a conversation, that's kind of how you breed trust. So you just have a conversation with people. So I think the same breeder, Lucas London Royals, also from Lucas London Royals, would be another project. Not as many animals, but this would be a monsoon dreamsicle project. One male, 2 females. The male is a Mojave, 100% het, or 100% double het hypopide. So it's hypopide as well. And then 50% monsoon and lavender. That's a lot going on with it. There's a lot to say about that. So, I mean, if that proves out, that's going to be crazy. The the females are lavenders. They're visual lavenders, and they're 50% het monsoon and pied. So, you obviously, from this pairing anyways, wouldn't be able to replicate hypo in any way. But if it proves out, you would be able to do monsoon and pied, as well as the lavenders, obviously, as well. So technically, there's a lot going on now here. With that being said, it's not as guaranteed as our last one, where everything was 100%, het clown or had lace in it, right? For sure. This one has some things you can test for. You can test for lavender. You can test for pied. Monsoon is not quite there yet, though. You cannot test for monsoon quite yet, but there are some markers to look out for. Unfortunately, Mojave is really worked with monsoon, I've noticed, because it's really, kind of helps with the coloring and the pattern and whatnot, because monsoon is so much. If you haven't seen a monsoon ball python, I'll look that up real quick too. Soon ball python. All right. That's a monsoon. It is the most disrupting of pattern of any ball python, bar none, at all. It's also known as the moray. I never heard of superfractual ever being used, but obviously it's here for a reason. But moray, if you see moray, it's the same thing, or it does the exact same thing. I don't know if it's been proven to be 100% the same, but it is the same, effectively. So now imagine this. Like, where do you go from pattern, right? What do you do with pattern here? Not much, right? It's already perfect. It's already done what it's done. There's not much you can do to influence the pattern, and why would you? But color, like lavender, that is where you could go. Pied, I know I've seen pied ones out there too, but bringing in some of that stuff might help too. So that's why this could be good, and I think this one will go for much less than our last package we saw because of the uncertainty. The biggest thing being able to prove out would be that boy, and he's in the middle. Monsoon markers, quote unquote, are known as something like, a lot of it from what I hear is like pattern kind of stretching over the top of it and whatnot, and I kind of see some of that, but Mojave kind of brings it into the sides and creates these little keyholes. So it is a potential hit, but the good thing about this is that if you're gonna work with het to het anyway, which is never ideal, but in the case of a monsoon where they're still like $8,000, that's most people's reality if they want to work it. The het males are not that crazy expensive, quite frankly, anymore. So you can get a het male as a replacement, or as a backup. You know, just kind of work it from there, so, just to get the monsoons. So cool opportunity, and I don't think it'll go for anywhere near as much due to the uncertainty of those hets. Oh, there we go. I didn't need to go look up a monsoon. That was the next one we were doing. That is one that Sean here, I think I'm not sure if he's still in the stream or not, but this is actually his animal. So yeah, no, you cannot test for monsoon yet. If RGI has come close, but the exact wording that I've heard him use is that it's broken his heart more times than he can possibly imagine. So it could be getting close, but I don't want to speak for them on that. But it could be getting close. But it is a really neat and cool gene. We're working, well, kind of working. We have a 50% hit monsoon, but the markers are just nuts. So I'm pretty certain it is. I just kind of want to make monsoons, quite frankly. I don't know where the heck to go from there. So, but yeah, this monsoon here is also 50% head hypo, and I often think that, like I said, pattern is not, in my opinion, anyways, it's not anything that really needs to be messed with on monsoon. It's enhancement or color, and this being 50% hit hypo is right up that alley. So you send this in for a shed test, because that is something you can test for, find out, and then you get yourself the appropriate male, put this to, and then you're making more than just monsoons. You're making something very, very cool and very, very unique. So a female, that means that you can kind of grow this out while you source your male. Monsoons are going to be usually a lot more. So obviously I don't know what that reserve price is. Sean would know that. But reserve prices are there obviously to protect an animal from going bottom out, just in case there's not a lot of interest that week. So it just depends on if it meets that price, but I can almost guarantee you that you're not going to find a better deal on a monsoon in general, because like I said, most of them that I see, I think the cheapest I've seen is about $8,000. And they make money back very, very quickly. So I think that monsoon hypos are a good way to go, because of that. It's like an enhancing type gene. Hypos glow, and I don't know if there's a whole bunch in terms of pattern what you can do with monsoon. And quite frankly, again, like I already said, it's already perfect. So very, very nice looking animal here. And when you're working a gene like this, sometimes it might be beneficial to start with a female so you can grow her out. Usually I think that your visuals should be males, but on a monsoon though, I don't know, because they're so up there. So you're gonna eventually need to get a monsoon grown up to size. This would be a great way to do it. So it's a very nice animal, Sean. So I think that if anybody is in the monsoon project, you should definitely give this one a bid, and then immediately send it for a shed test for head hypo. That is a direction I would like to go eventually with my monsoon project. I think, like I said, I'm just trying to create monsoons. So, see, there's a bit of a spoiler right there. $3,000 as your reserve price. We never get that any other time. That is incredibly worth it. I'm telling you right now, you cannot find one for less than, well, unless you're talking someone down, and it's kind of done under the table. I've never seen one listed for less than $8,000. So, yeah, this could be a good one for somebody. Morphin time. I'm hoping to prove out our pastel het monsoons. They have a lot of markers. Yeah. And like I said, you just kind of grow them up and whatnot. So, but yeah, very cool animal here, Sean. Thanks for sharing that. That is a very well worth it price, no doubt. Another one with a reserve here would be this Super Mandarin Hypo. That is This is one of the most incredible combos that you can get out there. For a long time, fun story, people thought this was just Super Mandarin. they eventually proved it out that it always had hypo in it, which, I mean, I think that was suspected, kind of for some people, but a lot of people still just kind of went with the fact that this was just Super Mandarin. Doesn't change the fact how cool it is, how it's one of the more crisp, cool-looking oranges that you can get. It is a really cool gene. We actually lucked into it and got one in an auction. I'm not going to say by how much. Not this. By God, no. Not this. But we did get a Mandarin. We got a pastel Mandarin from Chris Hernan. And I never thought I'd work Mandarin. Not that I didn't like it. I just didn't think I would. But when this opportunity came across, I literally could not say no. So I immediately want to get into hypo, no doubt. But I kind of have some other ideas. First, I need to breed it out and whatnot. Unfortunately, I have a hypo here. I'm just now getting another idea. I do have 2 hypos, visual ones, that I could breed it to. I don't think I've bred that one yet. I have a lesser butter hypo. So, and it is a visual hypo. You might think, like, how would you know? It's an all-white snake, yes, but it has been proven it is a visual hypo. But I can breed it to that. Get some ideas there. So, yeah. But this is a really cool animal. But again, the price is high. You got to be in on something like this for sure. And we don't know what that reserve price is. But they are very, very cool. I couldn't help but not show it. So, take a look at a few of the comments here. Still small though. I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but yeah. I mean, if you're talking about this one, I mean, obviously you're they get some time to eat. As a male, they get the size real quick. If you're talking about the monsoon, that's why it's nice in terms of being able to grow the female out, because then you'd have time to source your male, and maybe even let prices drop a tad bit, because males might get cheaper. And if you do want to get a het, normally I don't, it'd be nicer to just go visual to visual. You make your money back very quickly, I guarantee you that. But you can maybe get something that's a little cheaper, because the male hets are not that expensive in any way, shape, or form, for monsoon anyway. And yeah, it's still very cool opportunities there to get some other genetics in there. Maybe some of those enhancing ones, like things that can add color. So, Reaper, I want to do monsoon next year, but I'm gonna have to poor man my way into that project. Totally understand. There's, totally understand. Going head to head in certain cases is it's never ideal, but sometimes that's the reality that beholds each of us, and I've had to do the same thing in the past too. But this, if someone snags this for 3K, then they robbed you, Sean. But that's what the reserves are there for, is to make sure that it's not too much of a fleecing. So it's that, because guarantee you're making that money back, like 100%. Monsoons sell well because of how incredible they are. So think of it that way, how quickly you'd be able to recoup that. And I know people always try to say, like, things are changing and prices kind of changing. Yeah, they will. But, I don't buy into the whole market thing. If anything, beginning of this year, and just in general this year, I don't want to go into numbers, but we did better than last year and the year before. We've grown year over year still, even throughout this quote-unquote bad economy. And I anticipate it getting even better. So, that's not been my experience. That's all I can speak for is my own experience. So I anticipate, like, if you get in the monsoon project, it's going to become more incredible. And quite frankly, a dropping of a price, you got to look at it as a opportunity for other people to get into the project now. As a price comes down, those hets for the monsoons used to be incredibly expensive, and now they've come down to the point where people can start, at least, like you said, poor manning it. But the visual monsoons are going to keep, kind of possibly come down. They haven't dropped anywhere near as much as other ones. But probably because there's not a whole bunch of them out there. But you can definitely see where I'm going with this. I think you have more of a pool of people to buy it, so therefore you're not sitting on them for too long. So this is let's see, where's the next one? Oh, here we go. That would be this Orange Stream double het puzzle tri-stripe. So That would be this would be a really nice one because I love what Tri-Stripe does, and obviously Puzzle, we already talked about it a little bit. Obviously, going to Het as a male, especially double Het, not having a single visual here, it's not super ideal. But we were just talking about that. Some people are that's the reality you live in, and Tri-Stripe is a very expensive one. Some people might not know what that looks like. Well, here you go. It is the most biggest, boldest stripe on a ball python, bar none. There's nothing else that comes close, in my opinion. Down the back like this, it is just absolutely incredible what it can do. And again, another one that I just don't see a lot of people working. I'm very curious as to how Puzzle would interact with this. Because Puzzle kind of jumbles up the pattern, and this basically just, I don't know, obliterates it and creates lines. So it'd be very interesting. Kind of while we're on the topic of that, I wonder what some of these other genes, like Monsoon, would even do with that. Probably Monsoon would eat this up, though. So I'd imagine. But wouldn't it be cool if it just created the Monsoon pattern just down the back? That'd be sweet. We think that, but then they don't work the way we think. So, but yeah, just another cool one. It's an opportunity maybe for someone who wanted to possibly get into Tri-Stripe and create something unique. I think it'd be really cool. So, let's see here. Morphin' time. What's your thoughts on selling expensive morphs? Cheap to spread the morph and get people enjoying the snakes. Well, I think it just depends. I don't think that anybody should just be out there specifically to bottom out the price. I think that's just a natural occurrence that happens because as more people get into it, here's the thing. If you get in, say, Monsoon, like we were talking about, Monsoons, when I first was getting into it, we're still in the 10s and whatnot, and they're still, like I said, they're not that much further off. But if you got in on it early, you paid a lot, but then you've made your money back selling them. And quite frankly, it's dropping slow. I mean, so you're still making a ton of money on these things. That's another one from Jim from Southwest Wisconsin was telling me about how he loves these Monsoons. They're just, they just, just from a monetary standpoint, we're talking monetary right now, business wise. They printed money for him. So, it's a big investment right off the bat, but that's the key word, investment. And you make your money back on those ones quite well. As people produce them more and as people get into them more, the price naturally will go down because supply and demand dictates it. That's just marketing, or not marketing, but economy 101. If I am the only person who sells something, then naturally I am setting the price, depending on the demand, just because of the way it looks too. So there's an initial demand and then there's an initial supply, and those two kind of come together to just dictate what it comes to. Obviously if I am selling a brand new morph and I say it's $10,000 and they literally all sell out the same day, I'm like, crap, I should have put it for more, right? And if you don't think that people didn't, well, in the 90s when money wasn't even worth as much, people were paying $50,000 for bananas. Actually not the 90s, I'm sorry, I think it was the early 2000s. I mean, that's nuts. That's nuts to me. I gotta look at the exact date again. I know we had it, that the banana morphs and coral glow morphs started going crazy, but yeah, they are they're definitely things that as people work them, they kind of, that price kind of changes. Nowadays bananas are not anywhere near that much, but originally people made bank and got retired off of that sort of stuff. So you got to think about it that way too. And someday, 10 years from now, maybe Monsoon isn't that, but the people who got in on it right now will definitely have made their money back. It's about getting in it and understanding that you're not going to probably get back the exact amount you did, but Monsoon was one that I'd seen staying, kind of where people were getting their money a little bit better back. Usually if you buy in on an animal for, I don't know, $3,000, maybe you're selling them animals, the babies, eventually as you grow it out for, it just depends. Like, let's say it's a recessive project for maybe $2,000 something like that. But still, you're making way more money in the end. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. I don't think people should purposely be doing that. because then eventually what you're doing is you're creating an unsustainable amount of people buying into it and thinking, oh, I'm gonna make $3,000, and then that doesn't happen, right? So that it just depends. I think the market should dictate itself, and I think it does. And I'm okay with whatever it does, quite frankly. So Mandarin makes for a very warm orange. It's a good way of describing it. Yes, I agree. Macromorph, there are tax money. Yep, tax money animals is usually when I pick up higher end animals. It's a lot of people who do that. Tax time is very, very good time for selling them. There's no doubt about that. And I usually pick up, if I'm going to pick up anything, that's when I'll get it. So, but yeah, real quick back to Tri-Stripe. It's a really cool one that I think that not enough people work. I've seen him in person a few times, but I haven't seen very many combos at all. Maybe it's another one that's just incredibly powerful and just color is the way to go, right? All right, now on to one of my favorites, and that'd be the Monarch gene. Everybody knows how much I love Monarch. This is a pastel Monarch, 50% het genetic stripe. And pastel, Monarch and genetic stripe go hand in hand together. They are like peas in a pod because the literal first Monarch was a genetic stripe. They were Monarch genetic stripes. I think they were pastel as well. And then, they were like, what the heck is this? And they eventually bred out and proved that the Monarch is its own thing. That wasn't like a double. And it wasn't just one thing. So Monarch works very, very well with both sides of the aisle in terms of dark and light genes. I think that I know that my heart is more on the darker side, but again, it's back to that contrast we were talking about. The contrast is the king, and there's a lot of contrast here because you do have a bright animal, but then you have this very almost burgundy type look in it. These nice like purplish browns coming through that you don't get anywhere else, quite frankly, and that's why it works so well with pastel, even because Monarch is not just a color morph. It kind of cleans it up. It's like a microdose of Desert Ghost in there, and it really cleans it up. So it works well with pastel, even though my heart is kind of in the direction of just more of a darker type look of it, Mahogany would be a really beautiful example to use. Blackhead. I'm in the process of making a bunch of double hets right now. I've got Monarch old hets. I got double het Monarch clones, double het Monarch pied, and then we just hatched out, unfortunately, that's going to be its own video, but it'll be a little while, so I'll give a bit of a spoiler. We did do an egg cutting, and it was from one that was a big-time surprise. Never thought she'd go this year. And I only bred her twice, so I definitely don't blame her, and it's her first year. It would be a Sterling puzzle weirdo to my Monarch. And I think it was 7 eggs, maybe 8. I can't remember right off the bat, but many of them were slugs. There was 4 eggs total. 2 of them did not make it, sadly. They grew, and one of them was deformed. One of them just didn't make it. But then I did get 2, and one of them is just absolutely incredible. It's a Sterling double het. And the other is a pastel. And I did get a male and a female. So I'm pretty pumped about that. So, yeah. Anyways, Monarch here. Look at the price. I believe that I am actually. No, I'm not. Somebody outbid me. That's okay. I'll keep going in on it. Or did I bid on this one? We'll do that. And it's gonna go for way more. It's gonna go for way more. But obviously this is a good opportunity to get in on this at a really much lower level than what you're gonna get in just buying it at quote unquote retail. You can Monarch is an incredible gene. Like I said, there's so many different ways to go about this. You can definitely work the pattern because it doesn't really do anything with the pattern, so you can get morphs that have a lot of pattern mutations in there, and color. It already obviously already does that, but you can enhance that with things like Blackhead and Mahogany that just make it pop even more. I'm in the process of thinking that if there's ever a royal purple that's ever going to be created, which I don't know if that's actually going to happen. Obviously, it's very unlikely. But if there ever is, it's coming from this morph. It's more or less this burgundy type color. This is what you can enhance even more and more and more. And that's what I think that is key. And that's why I love Monarch. It's not because of anything else other than this color right here. That's the main ideal reason right there. So absolutely beautiful morph whatsoever. Absolutely. So all right, on to our last three, I think, would be this pastel chocolate hypo DG. I'm pretty surprised that this hasn't been bid on. It is a proven boy here, but I'm very surprised it didn't go up too much longer than when we started this. But there's so much to love about it. The way chocolate works with hypo just enhances what it does for that melty type look. In a way, I almost just wish this wasn't pastel, but also what I've noticed with chocolate and hypo, and sometimes even with pastel, is it gives the illusion of this mossy green. So in a way, it is kind of cool. I just think that again, it would look nice for this for the darker side of it. But I do think that it looks good because of because of its probably with Desert Ghost. It just definitely makes it puts it together and makes it pastel, or keeps pastel from overtaking what I think would normally what pastel would do, and just kind of brown it out and just muddy it up, in my opinion. But this is a really beautiful animal, and it's not changing. Remember, this is a full-grown adult proven breeder boy, and that's the beauty of what Desert Ghost, especially when combined with hypo, can do for you, and just really brighten it up. It's very, very nice. There's a lot of different directions you could go with this. Chocolate and Desert Ghost and hypo, they all work so good together. Being a proven breeder boy, he can immediately get to work with you, for you. I mean, there's so many beautiful combos you can make with this. So, there's not much more to say about this one, because I'm really surprised, even though it just went up, that it doesn't have any bids. In fact, you know what? We noticed that sometimes it doesn't go. No, I don't know. There's so many different awesome avenues you could go with this. It's already a gorgeous animal. So chocolate is absolutely incredible. I plan to get that eventually in my collection. I actually do not work it right now. So alright, I said much earlier we'd talk about a super blackhead, and we finally made it. And that would be this super blackhead 100% het pied. So it's always going to produce blackheads for you, and that's very, very nice. So, and here's a good example of what I was talking about with blackhead being a dark morph, but it's not just pure black. You can clearly see that this is a dark animal. But the sides have these orange flames coming up. You have the normal kind of burnt orangish brownish type pattern, and you've got a lot of whites kind of creeping up in there too. There's a lot of contrast. That's what I'm saying. Blackhead is a dark morph, but it doesn't absorb or kill off the light. It works with it, which is so awesome and so ideal. There's just so much to say about where you could go with this, because again, color is on the table, pattern is on the table, everything is on the table. And it's from a very good breeder and breeder circle. The fact that it's het pied is even more beneficial. I didn't even talk about that yet, because everything, if you breed it to a visual pied, then you're going for blackhead pieds, which are very nice. Obviously get some other genetics in there. There's no issue with blackhead again. None of this goofy stuff that you get in other things. No wobbles, no kinks, nothing like that. So work blackhead to your heart's content. This is beautiful and it's harmless. In fact, it's a cure-all to spider. Literally, we talked about that earlier, how it just washes it out and makes it the inner ear thing go away. So very, very cool animal. Before we end here, I'll jump right back into the comments here. Someone makes a purple snake, I am buying it. Yep. That's why people want to do it, I'm sure. But I just want to make it and keep it. It's beautiful and show it off to everybody. So, Macamorph, thank you, gents, for a live different view of animals, thinking of projects. Thank you very much. We should try to do this every week. So, thank you for your time. Thank you very much, Sarah. Morphin time. Oh, Sean, if you are still here, you actually have a question about your monsoon. I think I can answer it for him though. I believe he had said that you get a choice. Beautiful female in your choice of a 66. Oh, Mojave. Okay, no, never mind. Yeah, I get what you mean. So maybe it's a couple of them. So, but yeah, Sean, if you are still here in the live, Morphin Time had a question about your monsoon actually. All right, last two. Oh, hang on, one more question. Do you know much about the zebra morph? I do. I haven't seen much about it, but it looks so cool. I thought it would be more popular. It is pretty popular, honestly. And it's another one that's still up there in price quite a bit. It does a lot to the pattern. It creates this zipper-like pattern, and it works well with color morphs too. Just really enhancing and making bright animals beautiful with hypo. We actually work something that's very similar, if maybe not even the same, quite frankly, because if you look at a zebra and look at its het form, look at the het zebra, they have a visual look to them. They do not look like normals. I work a project now called Striker, and they look at risk of sounding very corny at the pun, they look strikingly similar to zebra. There's a lot of talk of whether they're the same. It has not been proven yet. Therefore, Striker is classified as a codom because there's a super striker, and the super striker looks again like a zebra. So, are they the same? I can't tell you. It doesn't really matter to me though. I think they both look amazing. And I had an opportunity to get the striker, so I did it. And it is not anything I regret in any way, shape, or form. I absolutely love it. And he'll be pairing. He's also had hypo. So I hope to create a lot of those striker hypos. I also had GHI in the mix in this particular combo. A few other things too. And eventually I want to get that super striker. So... but yeah, look into the striker as well. And Mackenzie is another one too. Mackenzie's less known even. But Zebra's probably the most known. Then I'd say Striker. And then I'd say Mackenzie. I could be wrong. But they're all thought maybe they might be the same thing. Maybe just one big happy family. And that would be really cool. If I could start getting zebras and combining them. That would open up my avenues for certain things. That's for sure. But it is a very, very neat morph. Thank you for bringing that up. It is really cool. Morphin Time, Super Striker is cool. Looks like a zebra. Yep, 100%. But yeah, look at the het zebras. You'll see what I'm talking about. They have a visual look to them. So, all right, talking about this Yellow Belly Stranger Clown. There's a reserve price on it, but Yellow Belly and Stranger, they work so well together. And I don't think I've seen this particular combo on here. Don't know if this one will go or not, because I don't know what the reserve price is, quite frankly. But they definitely we're trying to make that this year. Maybe we're gonna get lucky. But we're also trying to add Hognoses and GHI into that whole mix. I'm hoping that it's just so electric, so beautiful. But that's kind of why I want to show this one off. It's so nice. But we'll obviously it speaks for itself. Let's see. Love the pattern distortion on the Stranger Clown. Oh yeah. Stranger Clowns work well. Stranger in general works well with quite a bit of things. So kind of like Blackhead in a way. And then we're gonna end it up here with this Clown Double Het Sunset Pied. It just went up before this auction went. It's a male. So if you wanted to try to go for this triple recessive, this would be a good way to do it. And I don't know if it'll go for a whole bunch. I've seen these go up here occasionally, time to time, and they never seem to go for a whole bunch. Not what you might think. If you wanted to see kind of what those, like a Sunset Clown, this is a Sunset Clown. If you get the pied in there, obviously you're just getting, the blotches and the crazy pattern. You're losing some of these alien head or keyholes and whatnot that you have with those. So, and they have been created, by the way, I believe. So, the Sunset, they're the triple recessive Clown Sunset Pied. So, it is definitely a good opportunity if that's the sort of way you want to go. You're at least getting one visual of the clown, and it's not going to be that much more than just a triple het, quite frankly. So I think this would be a good way to go if that suits your fancy. Again, not for every single person, but some of us want to shoot for the stars while also keeping our bank accounts in the green. So just just food for thought. So but yeah, that just about does it for today. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It's always really nice, to have the community talking and whatnot. Thank you, Sean, for sharing a little bit with your monsoon there as well. Like I said, we never get to see the reserve price on those. I'll just show it off one more time, but it has a $3,000 reserve price. I'll end with it showing it right there, because that's the lowest I've ever seen. Technically, I mean, if you just throw a $3,000 bid on this right now, I mean, I could definitely see this one going for sure, because then it you're getting it cheaper than anybody else. And again, thank you, son, for the $20. I really appreciate that. I don't ever expect that. I didn't even know my brother had that activated. So it came as a bit of a surprise, so I really appreciate that a lot. So especially your kind words. So but yeah, everybody, we'll end it there. Hope everybody has a wonderful night. Oh yeah, put on the end stream. That was my brother that did that, because I'm incompetent when it comes to computers. And yeah, we will see you in the next one. Have a great night, everybody.